So, the Object 452K. Yes, I managed to get one. I got the number 14,543. It really doesn't matter about the number, let's be honest. This tank cost me around about 750k free XP, plus 32 blueprints of each nation, and then 280 universal blueprints. Was it worth it? For me, sure, because I've got nothing else to spend that resource on. However, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This event isn't for everyone. If you're still getting tanks that you want, so for example, you're grinding up through the tech tree still and you're wanting to get a tank, say the S-Conk. Yes, I know it's going to be nerfed and whatnot, but bear with me on this one. If you were grinding up and trying to get an S-Conk, it makes no sense to go and spend a load of free XP and blueprints and everything else on one tank, when you could put that free XP into researching better modules, such as unlocking the top gun straight away on different vehicles that you're going to be grinding, or even just skipping a tier entirely. If you wanted to get this tank in just free XP alone, it's about 1 million, and one entire line of a tier 10 is not 1 million. For example, because I've already got every other tank in the game unlocked on this account, I can only go off the Type 71. It would usually cost 222k. That's just for the tier 10 alone. And then as you go down and down and down, yes, it will get less and less. But it's around about 550 to 600k. Plus on top of that, then another 150k to 200k for the modules. That is still only around about 700, 800k for the entire line. And this tank would have cost you 200k on top of that. But bearing in mind, you can also skip a large amount of that by just playing and grinding. So in reality, this is a lot more than that. So it kind of makes no sense if you are already trying to grind stuff and then you go and splash all of your resources onto this tank. Anyway, today is going to be my first impressions on it. I have not played a single game and I've barely watched anybody else play it. However, I do know for a fact that it's going to need config or at least tier 3 experimental hardening, but I do not have one that I can just keep demounting because it costs 100 components each time. So config it is. We then also have the rammer and stab. I know for a fact that this is going to get set on fire a lot and ammo racked, just by looking at the stats on Tanks GG. You compare it to the other tanks, and yes, it has weak ammo rack and fuel tank. I said this as soon as I even saw this tank. This was way back before this got announced. When this went into super test or became available for people to look at the statistics, I looked at the ammo rack and fuel tank and I said, that is going to get set on fire a lot. And by the sounds of it, I was correct. So we are definitely keeping config on this thing. Also, another thing that I need to watch out for is that it only has -7 degrees of gun depression. And even though that this thing is like a god tier tank holdown, that -7 is not enough on a majority of maps. So this is actually going to have to expose the lower plate quite a fair amount. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But that's for in-game. Let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so for our first game, we're on Siegfried Line. And I'm the only Object 452K, right? Feels good, man. Like, they're not flooding the matchmaker anymore. On the day that this actually came out, on the Friday, at 5 PM UK time, I was streaming, I bought the tank, I ended the stream, and I have not played World of Tanks since then. Well, at least I haven't played the random queue. I played a bit of Frontline, got to level 20, but I purposely did not want to play the random queue once this tank comes out, and I do it every single time that, well, at least I try to do it every single time that an assembly shop tank comes out, because they just flood the matchmaker, and it's not very fun. Let's see how good the whole armor is, the turret armor is actually. Going to heat here. He actually penned. I don't even know what he penned. Interesting. I can't pen him. The gun is interesting. It's not very accurate. It's a little bit derpy. There we go. Put one into the mouse. I'm just kind of testing out to see what this turret can and can't do, because it should be able to do pretty much everything. Like, it shouldn't be able to get overmatched. Sorry, not overmatched. It shouldn't be able to get penned if I'm hold down using all the gun depression, no matter what tank it is. Even a Jagdpanzer E can't pen this thing frontally. Which is completely dumb, but there we are. Look how fun this is. Fun and engaging gameplay for the whole enemy team. Wouldn't you agree? There's nothing wrong with this tank. Does hit very nicely though. Once it does pen. The other massive issue with this tank is that it doesn't get enough shells. Having only, what is it, 30 shells in total? With a tank that fires every 11 seconds is going to be quite annoying. The enemy team have just given up with me. I mean, I don't blame them, to be honest. And what are they meant to do? They literally just cannot pen me in this position. Okay, well, we have so far got 3.4k combined. So you see what's over here? It can't side scrape, which is a problem. Oh my god. What is this gun doing? I don't want to block the 60 TP, but you will need to actually shoot this guy. I mean, the game's over already. One into him. DPM's actually pretty decent because of the alpha damage. 560 alpha with this little reload time is really, really good. I can't actually see the gorilla. Interesting. But yeah, this game's already over. Let's just push forwards. We push forwards, try and get as much out of this game now as we can. There is no way I'm going to be able to bounce something off my lower plate though. .560 alpha is very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Okay. Can I get one more? Nice. Not too bad. 5.1, nearly 5.2. Considering that it was quite a fast game, I think we played okay in the end. Like, just getting a damage. We needed to move, so... Yeah, this tank's completely busted when it's like that. Like, they just can't pen you. There is one thing that I don't understand about this tank. We can apply, of course. Why did they nerf the Chief and then make this thing? Like, I understand this only has -7 degrees of gun depression. But this has more alpha, more DPM, more hit points, and it goes at the same speed as a Chief. And this is obviously, yes, this is post-nerf Chief that I'm talking about. But you see what I mean? This is like the semi-budget Russian Chief. One thing that I do want to make crystal clear of this tank, though, if you don't know, is that this entire roof will get overmatched by anything greater than a 120 caliber gun. So 60 DP, E100, anything that is, you know, greater than 120 and taller than you, which is a very, very, very big factor about this tank, because nearly all the tanks will be taller than you, and they have 122 or, you know, whatnot. Like, even the 430U will cause you big issues. They can just go straight through you without any issue. So you kind of have to be in that situation that I was in, or you just die. Because you saw, as soon as I pushed up, I just got penned everywhere. Like, there's no hull armor realistically because you got big lower plate. It can't side scrape. It's got so many issues with it once it gets exposed out into the open. Also, somewhat like the Chief, although the Chief can sidescrape. Well, we're now in Prokhorovka. And I feel like I already know how this tank is going to be. The thing about this tank is people are going to get incredibly frustrated with the only -7 degrees of gun depression, because there are so many times that you just need more. The gun is quite derpy some of the time. Like, it's a bit of a kind of just sometimes will randomly just miss because it wants to. But I feel like you're going to need to use config or experimental hardening. Right, that's just a given. Because I would probably have got set on fire in that last game if I didn't use config. And I feel like this tank is going to be super, super strong in that situation that I was in last game. Where I just sit there, hold down, they can't see anything, apart from maybe like a tiny pixel that they might be able to hear. And you can just sit there and laugh at them. Right, but as soon as it's not in that position, it's going to become very, very weak. Not useless, but just very, very weak. So, I feel like that is how this tank is going to be. It's definitely not a useless vehicle. And it's quite an interesting vehicle, I guess, in that respect. Because you do have to play it hold down. But it's also one of the things where you just think to yourself, why? Like, why would you make it so broken in a hold down scenario? There's no need to give it this much armor hold down, where you don't even need to wiggle your turret. You don't need to do anything with your turret. You can sit there. The last game, I sat there hold down, right, hiding my lower plate, and made it basically impossible for anybody to shoot me. And I didn't need to move. But that just shouldn't be a thing. At least with an E5, at least with a Chief, actually, right? The Chief has a cupola that you can hit. And unless it's using all of the gun depression, you are not going... You'll be able to see it. Yes, it's very, very small, but at least it has one. This thing doesn't have a cupola when it's fully hold down, and it's only -7 degrees, remember. Which you can actually get to very, very easily. Although, at the same time, you then need to overexpose yourself a lot of the time to get the shot out on people. So it's just a very lazy designed tank, in my opinion. I mean, either way, while we've been speaking, we've racked up 2.2k. Just chilling. Not really even thinking about what we're doing. Can I get one onto this guy? Like, look at this gun depression. I'd have to overexpose so much to be able to shoot them. Leo 1 is still up there. Wow, okay. Let's go to heat now. See if we can get some shots on that Jagdpanzer. I think that one went high. Jagdpanzer will be able to pen me. I mean, most tanks will actually be able to pen me if they're up here, because they'll be shooting down on me. I'll tell you what. Let's move back over here. We're going to go to AP and see if we'll be able to shoot the Leo if he's up here still. We know the S-conks are there. Don't know whether or not the Leo is just chilling in this bush. I'll put one more and then back to heat. We'll see at the end what happens with that. Now, I am very cautious of peeking up this ridgeline because I know the Jagdpanzer will just turn. Oh, see? A bit like that. Problem is that we can't really overpeak this either. Because if we overpeak this, then we get shot by Leo and friends. Although we may be able to. No, there's no real clean shot here, because there's too many ridge lines. There's too many ridge lines in between us and the middle, so we can't really get a clean shot out on that without overexposing massively. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to move around to over here. And we'll see if we can go hold down on this bit. You know what? It doesn't feel slow. Like 40 kilometers an hour top speed is definitely not slow. You can definitely get a lot out of it. So I don't feel like you really need to have a turbo on this vehicle. It will help out, sure, but it's not like you need it. I'm well aware that the Jagdpanzer, if he's firing heat, will go straight through me. Even if he's not firing heat, actually, he'll go straight through me at this angle. And the thing is, I might not even spot him. I wanted to get a shot on the Leo, but it's not going to happen. I want to kill the artillery. I need to move around to get a better angle on him. And I'm going to go kill the arty. AP should do it. Get further back maybe. Quiet. Nope. Very scary. Right, we get unspotted. We go back to the middle. I say this every single time, that there's no light on proc, right? It just shouldn't be a thing. You should always have a light tank on Prokhorovka. Always. Okay, good. Nice. Oh, we should be able to shoot these as they push down. He should be dead. Okay, the 9-7 dies, that's fine. Pretty sure this 430U is spotting me still. I don't have shots on him. The arty's moved back into here now, so it's not possible for me to hit him anymore. At least not from this angle. Although it's a 261, he's got to be running out of ammo soon. Nice. Turn my turret over here. How many shells is our... Because our 261 must be running out of ammo soon, as well. I think he ran out of ammo. Yeah, I think he ran out of ammo a little bit. ammunition is empty. He's out of ammo now. Not great. There's three Jagdpanzers. Didn't even realise there was 3 Jagdpanzers. Oh man, this is so bad. Like, imagine there was just light tanks. Just imagine light tanks on this. How does that not pen? Interesting. Our 60p stuck up there. We have no way of spotting them on the hill now. Like, it's just going to end in a draw. I was hoping that someone could kill him as he pushed up, but no. Oh well, it's a draw. Maybe we get a little bit of 1 blind or something, I don't know. We actually got 2 blinds. We got 5-6 out of that. So what did we end up hitting blind? We hit a Jagdpanzer blind. So we hit a Jagdpanzer twice blind, right? I don't think we ever saw a Jagdpanzer get shot. Oh no, we hit the Leo blind once. Yeah, so we hit a Leo and a Jagdpanzer blind. I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's just dumb that you don't get light tanks on procs sometimes, but yet you'll still somehow have like 5 congregated on Himmelsdorf somewhere. I mean, so far this tank is exactly what I just said at the start. It's completely broken and overpowered everything when it's using 7 degrees of gun depression and hold down somewhere. But as soon as you don't have that, it's kind of just meh. Okay, so for our third and final game, we're on Outpost. We're going to go to the left. I don't really know how we're going to play it on the left, but we're going to go there and just see. It is a tier 10 game. There is 2 artillery. There is 2 light tanks. Wow, that's really nice. Shame we couldn't have got one of them on our game last game, but there you go. I will say, the gun feels really good. As much as it is a bit derpy, the gun feels very, very solid. Like, the alpha damage makes this gun really nice to use. However, it's very quirky in the way that, you know, this tank works. Okay. Oh my god. I can barely turn. Need AP for this. I don't actually have the gun depression. I thought I did. Do I have gun depression for him now? I do. Yeah, Artie will now begin shooting me. I'm stunned. Lovely. I can't hit that. This is what I mean with the gun depression. It's really annoying. Where did he hit? Yeah, lower play. Just as I overexpose it. That guy being above me now is really bad. This guy up here. Yeah. Wow, it takes a lot of arty damage. Okay. There you go. This is what I mean. Like, there's no way to play on this map for this tank. This tank is useless on this map. You can't side scrape. You go hold down, but you don't have enough gun depression to play properly. So yeah, it's great when you can go and be hold down and stuff, but as soon as it's not, it's incredibly awkward. And also, because you have no armor on your roof, you take stupid amounts of arty damage. In fact, if an arty shoots AP at you, they could easily just pen you every single time, because they could overmatch your roof. Alright, well, there you go. I think that it is exactly what I said in the prop game. Like, it's completely busted and broken when it's fully hold down, hiding 7 degrees of gun depression. But if you can't get that, it's meh. It's really not that great. Alpha damage is good, but I'd rather this have like a normal turret where it's not just squished down and completely overmatched and actually has a weak spot, like, and some hull armor. Right? You need to be able to side scrape nowadays in water tanks. And either that, or you have like minus 10 degrees of gun depression. That's the only real way that you can actually play this game. On the vast majority of maps, minus 7 is just not enough for what you need it to do. So, I mean, I would rather play something like... even the 277 is actually a perfect example for this. Like, I would rather play the 277 where it can actually side scrape if you know what you're doing. It has 490 alpha instead of the, 560 on this thing. But this tank is just so much more comfy to play with. Even the turret. I'd rather have this turret than this thing. Because this is just an incredibly awkward tank to play. Yes, it's completely busted and broken if you manage to use it. But using that is very few and far between. Like getting the perfect kind of hold down spot. Yeah, I'd rather play a 277, rather play an IS-4, much rather play an IS-4. So, yeah. I don't know. Was it worth it? I mean, sure. I mean, I got a new tank out of it. But, as I said at the start, this isn't for everyone, and you shouldn't be, wasting your resources on this thing when you could just go and get a Tech Tree tank that's just better. Anyway, that's my first impressions. Maybe they'll change over time, and I'll, as I learn to play it a little bit more. But yeah, that's what I think initially. Out of those 3 games, we got 4.2. Although we had one really bad game at the end. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.